Okay, it's August 26, 2021. Oh no, this one is precious with Jim Reed. Once again, I go just to fix myself a salad in the kitchen. I mean, he cannot resist. Oh my lord. I promise you, he reminds me of my little sister. You'll listen to their dialogue, it's the exact same as well. So, he tells me that he's going to hire a maid, a professional maid, to clean the house because he just, can't clean anymore. Because he's ill. Yes, he has some, I guess some health problems or whatever. Oh my god, the man has never and does not take care of his body. I mean, there's one of the problems in the healthcare system in the United States, but it's getting global. People who just either obesity. I mean, you've seen the other video. That's not the problem with this guy. I told him about the thyroid. Oh, no, I'm a stupid idiot. I don't know anything. But anyway, I mean, just I'm sorry, a lot of these people just want to be ill, so then they can have a whole bunch of people going, oh, you poor thing, you poor thing. So anyway, I'm like, excuse me? You're gonna hire a maid to clean? Because you can't do it anymore? You haven't been doing anything in the first place. Ever. Every time he goes into the kitchen or the bathroom, just like the other one, I have to clean it. I mean, literally. Wash it all down, because I mean, I've never seen anybody even leave something so disgusting with just one use. I mean, making a cup of coffee in the kitchen, it's gross. And we have rodent problems, we have, cockroach problems. I'm like, you people, you leave and then the mosquito problems as well, because, I mean, anyway. So, wait a second, you never clean anyway, and you're gonna hire a professional maid to come in here? Now, I've been fighting with you guys since the lockdown started to clean this place top to bottom. I mean, I've got everything wrapped up. I mean, I wear like 3 or 4 dresses that I change. I mean, okay, I'm just at home. Everything else is in plastic bags because we got a bed bug problem. And I don't want it coming over here. I constantly have to, the spray and oh, how many emergencies have we had on that subject? No, and oh god, there's solutions. I won't get into that. I'll see them in court. But of course, if I can't have any courts that are looking at anything and just playing frickin' games like DC Landlord Tenant Court, I've already established all sorts of cause there and a whole case for the International Court. So I guess, in September, apparently they're going to start evicting me. I'm like, okay, you guys, it'll take at least 8 months. I'll have spent down by that time. There'll be nothing there. God will provide. I don't know. But I'm like, if my landlord, I tendered the offer when we started the shutdown and I was not, working, I said, look, I'll clean the place top to bottom. It hadn't been cleaned in 10 years. I mean, my mother would have apoplexy. We would have to clean our house in Tucson like real hours and hours and hours and hours every Saturday and Sunday. And I mean, not a speck of dust could be found anywhere. I mean, she'd have a heart attack, more than just apoplexy. But, because she would go, look at this dust, look at this dust, look at this dust. And there really wasn't much dust. Okay, it was Arizona, but, it was every weekend. I mean, and rodent problems. At least we don't have any rats while I've been here. But I'm like, you landlords, you have a responsibility to provide decent housing for your tenants. I mean, when I moved in, there was a roof problem, and the guy who was here before me was in the courts with this guy and trying to get the house shut down and using that as the pretext because he was pissed off. Who knows what happened. That's when I moved in. But he's had problems. Well, anyway, he's a retired lawyer, charity lawyer of family court. And I'm going to be seeing him in court on sexual harassment. So, those type of guys, they don't care if it's women or children. I can't make any accusations until, we get to the end of the line and we start an entire investigation into what's been going on in this house for the past 40 years. They've had the foundation. Well, I won't go into that. Because that's a whole scam. I don't know how many scams they've got going on in this place. But nobody cares. I also offered, it worked in the people's favor, because if I had done that, I wouldn't have had time to do any of the letters I've done in the past, it's a year and a half, whatever, since the shutdown. I got a lot of the correspondences that I needed that were pending for the IMF, but I'm working, 2 jobs most of the time and just trying to get this and that. I don't have any secretaries. I don't have, any assistance, and I'm, constantly grappling with little laptop computers, the cheapest I can buy, that don't have, memory, and I wiggle around it. I got everything backed up elsewhere, but it makes my administrative job, twice as hard. Patsy Geyer would have a fit. I'm sometimes like, okay, which USB, where is it, where is this document, where is that? The bulk you'll find up on my 2 websites, but I still have a whole lot of other stuff. And the administrative function may be shit today, but I have been, believe me, Patsy Geyer taught me how to do this, and I've been doing it, dotting the I's and crossing the T's everywhere. No loopholes there. So anyway, I'm deviating. I did also offer to reform the house, because it's fallen down. And I said, I'll do that. I used to, when I was in high school, we'd spend the summers in Louisiana fixing my parents. They had like 3 or 4 farm houses on the farm that they renovated, and Mr. Easley, he taught us to do everything. I can't do complicated carpentry like building a door or a window. I mean, you have to have support and you have to be experienced in that. Or electricity, I won't touch that with a 10-foot pole. Or plumbing. But, you know, the manual labor of a 16-year-old, which is a lot, I can do. And I can, you know, God, with the reform, the kitchen reform did in Madrid, I mean, I love, got in with a scumbag architect. I got the architect specifically because we were, you know, hitting, what do you call it in English? A support wall. And I was like, I'm not messing around with some, you know, reform guy who doesn't have any license. And this, you know, if it comes toppling down, I want to make sure that it's covered in the insurance, and I want to make sure that the structural stuff, the architect even said, my God, lady, you're going overboard with the support beam. I said, I prefer to go overboard and spend another $100, because that's basically was the difference, then you know, crapshoot it, particularly, you know, in Spain. I don't have much, well, it's getting like that everywhere, confidence in construction, because they cut corners where they don't need to cut corners, and they spend a bunch of money on bullshit. Woo! We got in a fight because he wanted to sell me some, you know, kitchen furniture that I didn't want. You know, some like architectural. I said, that's what you're giving me, exactly what I like, the opposite of what I said I wanted. Yeah, I found out they get a commission on all of that stuff, so all they care about is selling. But okay, so I know what I am doing in dealing with the, you know, manual labor there. If I have some competent, you know, carpenters, electricians, plumbers, and I can oversee it, I said, we'll get the place top to bottom reformed. I got the time, and you have what you're promoting as a bed and breakfast, because it's a halfway. They rent out 1 or 2 rooms, you know, on nightly basis. Now nothing's happening. They've got 3 rooms empty, yet I'm the problem because I haven't paid rent, and I have a good reason for that. You know, this guy, I'm like, yes, I owe you rent, but wait a second, the lawsuit that you are looking at for harassment and damages under civil codes is going to be so much more than anything I owe you. Yeah, I have to, you know, do it in the proper courts. And if there were any NGOs or these stupid legal clinics in DC, got a list of those that are totally incompetent and everybody needs to be investigated, well then I'd be submitting and cleaning this up. But no, first I'm going to have to go through the housing courts on this issue, and I got it all argued, and believe me, I'm not stupid enough. I know enough what I'm doing, and this is not what women should have to be doing, or any litigant should have to be doing. No, I'm better off going in there by myself, and not some stupid lawyer who doesn't know what the hell they're doing. And screw it all up. Oh, Lord, oh, Lord. 2016, I mean, I had a shitload on my plate, and I was like, what are you doing, lady? Going to the courts when you got the elections going on, and you're fighting the IMF after the spring meetings. I mean, fighting them. I was working on all sorts of blogs saying, oh, I get it now. See, it bit them in the ass when they got rid of me in 2015 from the Institute for Capacity Development, because then that gave me the time, and I actually had a little bit of savings because they had put me on contract the last 2 years, so I saved everything I could. So I was able to, hold off there. And I went to the spring meetings. And I put all of the dots together in those spring meetings. I mean, what are the civil service organizations reps doing? Brown nosing, and they're just happy to get to all the party, and it's impressive. I mean, the food and drink and spectacle partout. Yeah, all on taxpayers' dime for these people to sit and schmooze and talk to the important people of the world about the important issues and not those of the little people. No, I mean, Washington is just out of control at all levels. So, anyway, I ended up in landlord-tenant court because they came after me. I was like, excuse me, I can't, bullshit. I'm not going to walk away from this. Jacket from $750 to $950, and then $1,800 for a small room in Fort Totten, D.C. Oh, screw you, lady. I mean, the black women in this town, the black and brown women in this town are out of control. This morning I got pissed off at Safeway because I go to the deli. Half the black women in the place won't serve me. They just ignore me. What am I going to do? Bitch at him? I've already complained to the manager. I don't care. She's black as well. So see, the women, I mean, believe me, and I'm not racist. I mean, I know, well, examples, greatest examples I have of, like, Indian women was the ambassador's wife in Bogota. And an ambassador's wife, she was a neighbor. I used to go, and have lunch. She, it was, lots of, Arab women, Middle Eastern women. And I came over one time for lunch, and I mean, I'm the only one who didn't wear, the head covering. And she told all of the ladies that, oh, no worries, my driver's left, and everybody, if you guys want to take off your, headpieces, there's no men around. I was like, okay, fine. But then one of them said, no, I haven't washed my hair, so I was like, see, sometimes it works in your favor. And she was so wonderful, so sweet, so nice. The good side of the Indians. Now, the ambassador's wife who came in after that, I mean, you talk about a prima donna. Woof. My God, she never invited me over for lunch. But you talk about a prima donna, and she was president of the Damas Diplomaticas, and she played the role of queen. See, these ambassadors' wives have to stop that. And, honorary chairs and honorary presidents and all of these, ladies, queen for a day with all of these different associations. So, just like everywhere, there are good, honest, hardworking people in those countries, and others who want to take everybody for a ride. And unfortunately, the ones who are immigrating from one country to another, and I've seen, it doesn't matter if they're poor or rich, and corporate expats and diplomat expats are the worst. It's just money, and power, and social climbing and schmoozing. Okay, so, and see, the thing is, anytime I go in the kitchen, he pulls this crap to piss me off. Because then it pisses me off and it deviates. I'm working on right now, the cards for this game that I'm working on. I'm still waiting for my gold coins, and then I'll put it together. Because I can start betting and show you all how how everybody's betting the farm. So I get it. I know that's the intention, but also I'm like, okay, well, here, let me document for the court. I don't have him saying it. See, what, I'm supposed to take my laptop in the kitchen every time I go there. I don't have one of these smartphones. Anyway, so that is as the Kilbourne house turns on August 26, 2021. No, and another thing, I was like, if we started a bed and breakfast here like it should be and get this place how it should be, it could be a really nice place. I mean, I got a lot of ideas for it. And also make some money during the COVID, because I can do a carry out from here. I mean, I can do, my repertoire, let's see, Indian, Moroccan, Indonesian is another specialty. I mean, any of the Middle Eastern and Mediterranean cuisine, French, some of, traditional American I do. I mean, much more from the South and the Southwest. I mean, I also do great ribs. I was like, let's do something. I said, let's get the garden. They have a tiny little garden, but it's big enough. You gotta clean it up, because, anyway, we could get a grill out there and be just doing barbecue ribs. You have the odor that's 2 steps away from Mount Pleasant Road. It's free advertising. A lot of things they could do with this house. No. Everybody just wants to squabble. Everybody wants just to fight, and they're all personal agendas. Believe me, I got a great idea for a sitcom. Anybody out there who's good at putting that together, let me chew your ear and we'll put something together. Better than the reality shows. I'm sorry, this reality, it's like, let's get some actors here and make fun of these people, because this is disgusting. In this would have been 2004, I think, 2005. When I'm fixing dinner in the evening, and I come across Jerry Springer. Now, I never heard of Jerry Springer, or what that was. I mean, or I hadn't seen American TV for a long time. And I would call my kids from from upstairs to come into the kitchen, and I said, "Oh my God, you boys, you have to look at this thing. This is Mom's country." These are the crazy people in there. But believe me, you got it in France, you got it in Spain, you got it in Colombia, you got every single, country of the world. Oh, in Afghanistan, the Taliban, they're not so much different than the white supremacists in this country, and for a lot of the same reasons. They want to shut the women up there, because one of the problems there is the Feminist Majority Foundation under Eleanor Schmiel and all of those little band of merry Nazis. The motor behind the violence there. I mean, that's what the reports show. That's what the evidence and the facts. I mean, I haven't been screwing around in DC for the past 13 years. I've been on lockdown and I've looked at everything. Nobody ever says you're wrong on this, you're wrong on that. No, shut up, shut up. And bug me like this. I mean, I know, believe me, I was brought up in boot camp. Oh, particularly my younger sister. My eldest son used to come to me and say, Mom, why did you have him? All he does is make my life miserable, which is not true. I mean, most of the time, they were great friends and playing together. However, they're two boys and quite close in age and very different characters. So I did a lot of mediation. Believe me, I understand the mediation process very, very, very well. I also understand when sometimes you step in and go, no mediating here. You, time out. You, time out. When everybody cools down, we'll talk. But, you know, there's a certain moment or, you know, okay, evidence, you know, show me your evidence of your accusations. Parenting is the same as governing. But I would always tell my eldest, his younger, who was always bugging him, and then he went, and I said, you're not allowed to hit. And then when he was little, I mean, he was like 2 years old or something, I said, well, okay, I explained that you're not allowed to hit, but biting's not allowed either. So that took a little while. But, you know, at the same time, I would also tell the younger one, whatever you were doing to piss him off, oh, 'cause I know they didn't get pissed off for nothing. Whatever you were doing. And then, me. See, I grew up with this whole dynamic as well. Yeah, whatever you, but see, my mom wouldn't intervene like this. But whatever you were doing, you better stop it right now. 'Cause if there's any more fighting here, both of you are getting punished. 'Cause I know it's coming from both sides. Sometimes those interventions would be more successful than others. And of course, you know, 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds, don't have the same control that you expect of a 9-year-old, 10-year-old, or, you know, later on. That's why also they're small. So when they're throwing a temper tantrum and they're 2 years old, you're like, we're not doing this. Here. You sit in the corner there and you have your little temper tantrum, and when you're finished, we can talk. But this is not, see, too many ladies out there and men didn't learn, you know, to control yourself. I learned it because I was going to get in trouble if I attacked my sisters. I mean, I you know, my younger brother was little, and, you know, just like boys aren't supposed to hit girls, girls aren't supposed to hit boys. But if anybody has had girls, young girls, ooh, don't ever underestimate a cat fight between girls. It can get worse than punching between boys. So anyway, I guess I've calmed down with this idiot. As the world turns in Kilbourne House, and hopefully I'll get up tomorrow. My card game. Actually, I did a trial card game last night, and I think it's gonna come out kind of cool. So And then I just saw this thing about Colmo. I'm going to respond to something about him lounging by the poolside. The man is in long pants and, you know, a Lacoste type shirt, sitting there working, as is his secretary, who is on the ground, you know, on the pool surface, instead of sitting on the lounge chair with the laptop on her knees, which would actually, quite frankly, hurt her back. So the most logical and comfortable place for her to be is how she is sitting with a makeshift table. Both of them are working. I mean, everybody's working for home. You know, they're working outside. My God. I mean, if the garden was decent, I'd be sitting outside sometimes working as well when it was nice, instead of locked up in this tiny room with these crazy lunatics. So that's bullshit. I mean, once again, come out with the man with his pants down and, you know, caught in the act of something.